Okay, today is the day that we are going to compare the Garmin R10 to the UNEEKOR iMini as best as I can. I have E6 Connect running on the iPhone here. Where are we at? Okay, it's recording that screen, and then I have the driving range as well. We're going to start with a gap wedge, and we are going to only use the Titleist RCT balls because those work the best with the Garmin. We'll see if there's any interference or anything. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as the environment and stuff. Looks like we got readings on both. Alright, we are green everywhere. This will be shot number 2. Okay, dead straight on one and a little bit to the left on the other. We seem to have just kind of a fundamental difference of what straight is so far. That felt a little right to me, so I think the UNEEKOR is dead on. The Garmin is a little bit inside of that. Let's see, so if the Garmin, if it's going right, the Garmin's reading it as straight, we can tilt the Garmin a little and see if that's part of it. Okay, very slightly moved that. And shot again. That felt pretty straight to me. Just a little left, and okay, those were pretty lined up. So maybe we got the line right. Let's hit a few more since we got one that kind of matched up. Oh, that wasn't an RCT ball. Put that one a little right, 93. That actually had that a little left. 93 though, distance is identical. Alright, one more with this gap wedge, and then we're going to go to like the 8 iron. Let's do one more for good measure. I just had to run and spend 10 minutes taking care of the baby. But let's get one more. One of the big things about the Garmin is side spin, so we'll try a big old hook and see what that looks like on both. It's about as hooky as I can get it. Well, pretty similar results. Okay, let's move on to a 7 iron. Boom. 7 iron here. Boom. 7 iron here. The Garmin keeps going to sleep. I think there's just probably a fair amount of interference. Alright, brand new RCT ball. 7 iron in hand. Comparison UNEEKOR iMini to Garmin R10. God, I wish I could do that all the time. Might have been the best 7 iron I've ever hit in my life. For real. 187. Alright, did that get picked up over here? Yeah, it only went 175 though, according to this. Ball speed 114. Ball speed 116. So that's a little interesting. Starting to get some differences there. That's right. Okay, really blocked that one. Didn't turn it over at all. And we get pretty similar right. Ball speed 113. Ball speed 115. Backspin 57. Backspin 57. That's pretty impressive. That one, those looked almost identical. Alright, another good one, huh? No, that's left. Yeah, that's going to be a little different. So that one had it being, this one obviously had it left. This one had it fairly straight. And now, I mean, I'll tell you that was left. I definitely rolled the hands over pretty hard. This RCT ball has nothing on it anymore. Decent strike there. We'll get a couple more 7-irons in. Oops. All right, last 7-iron of the contest here. Oh, that's left. That's so left. Hit well, but very left. These are quite different. 4.2 launch left. I'll have to see where these are launching. 4 left, so similar, but this one had it coming back. Oh my gosh. Okay. We are going to go to the driver next. Alright, we're moving on to driver. Let's crack a few of these, see what numbers we get, and then I'm going to do a deep dive. I can print out the Excel spreadsheet for this and for the E6, and we'll do a deep dive into it. Alright, let's see if we can launch one. Yikes. Tough first one. Like a chunky toe heel. Curious what the numbers were. Very interesting. Oh, that's not horrible. Not great. Okay, sort of similar there. Let's get another one. Oh, it's so weird. I almost let go. Okay, the swing is not ideal, but almost even better to get some really crappy hits. All right, let's get a good hit. Oh, no, I didn't do it again. All right. I'm feeling kind of rushed because my stupid babysitting's not going great. Okay. 1, 2. There we go. Finally hit sort of in the air. And a little right. What about this one? Sort of similar. Smash factors. Alright, best one of the day. Oh, no. It's so bad. Why am I doing that? Okay, let's cut that. There it is. Alright, I want that one. One more time. Shit. That's the one that's getting me in trouble on course. Super toe. Pretty bad over here too, but so much better. Okay, we're going to do one more driver. I'm just going to eliminate the ones that I hate. That was interesting. Completely different spin numbers. Okay, at least those are hit sort of okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First glance, fairly close, some curve, not quite right. But when I export the E6 Connect numbers, that's going to show us a lot of data. And then I can also export the GS Pro numbers. So we're going to do that. We're going to compare them, Excel spreadsheet, CPA style, get some real data about what it does really good, what it does bad. I would say overall, if you had either device, you would be happy, right? Like I love my Garmin. I'm getting a lot of crap, by the way, about just even testing the UNEEKOR. The Garmin people are coming after me, but I love the Garmin. I'm the one who's signed more people up for GS Pro with the Garmin R10 than anybody on YouTube. So I don't want to hear that I'm a traitor or something, because I love that device. I will keep that device. It will go in my golf bag, and it will go to the driving range with me and to courses with me. And this one is probably going to stay here. Like, you would be a fool to not use this and get the swing camera and some of the other features. So the price tag does worry me, but the Garmin is still amazing. We are going to see just how amazing it is right now. I'm going to kick it over to the other computer.
FYI, my office. And what I want to point your attention to is the stats. So I went a little nuts. I exported the GS Pro stats from the swings, and then I went on my E6 Connect portal and copied the entire spreadsheet of whatever they had, and then I had to take some liberties with some of the how it was written and do a little conversions, and I got everything written out. The top section here is the Garmin R10. The bottom section is the UNEEKOR iMini. Sorry. So let's get right into just kind of what we saw in the video. Was very similar ball speeds, pretty similar distances, and some very different start lines, and we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to do first is go through how close they are. So we did the three clubs, the gap wedge, the 7-iron, the driver. Let's just look at the averages, and then we can look at some specific examples of how close and how far we may be. So gap wedge, swing speed measurements. Now with both of the launch monitors, these are kind of like, we try our best to get the swing as it comes in. I would say the R10 averaged 71.9 or 72, and then 70, so approximately like 1.8 miles per hour difference in how they were getting read of swing speed, which people care sometimes about that, but not as much as ball speed, which came in at a less than 1 mile per hour difference if we averaged all of the shots. Backspin numbers, very close, and this is RCT balls, so the R10 I didn't check. I don't think I had a way to even check which shots were being read or estimated, but as you can tell, very close, 120 RPMs off, and we're just going to assume it's 120 high. And then side spin, the thing that a lot of people say about the Garmin R10 where it's lacking, and there's some software now that can help with that, is the side spin. So 170 off with just side spin alone, which is a much higher percentage being off there. Launch direction, all of them launched right, it looks like. The averages here are a little weird because I took out the negatives to get an average, but I really wanted to see like dispersion of launch direction, and then launch angle should be really accurate, right? Depending on how the Garmin's sitting. Our launch angles were off about 1.8, and then the distances, we were getting more distance estimation out of the UNEEKOR than the R10. Both were set to the same elevation. So interesting there. Maybe the spin profile or the extra like mile per hour ball speed there helped. Moving on to the 7-iron. 7-iron comes in even closer on some things and farther away on others. So swing speed tightened up we're at 0.5. Ball speed loosened, we're at 1.5. Backspin numbers opened up a little bit as well, 580. Side spin around the same percentage, 140 out of like 600. The directions were closer, so it saw the 7-iron going the same direction a little bit closer on, although that's a little misleading. Launch angle, we're at 17.7 and 19 for the Garmin R10. So, and again, this could be how my R10 is sitting or where its elevation is at. A lot of the R10 in my 2.5 years, 2 years and 8 months experience with it has been getting it set up perfectly and then leaving it. And then your consistency comes from leaving it, not necessarily because you want to get a little more consistent with your iron strikes or whatever. You're not going to care that these are different. You're going to care that they're consistent shot to shot more than they're off by 1 degree of launch angle. The thing that went a little weird was distances. The UNEEKOR were giving me much more credit with a 7-iron, averaging 183 with the good hits that came out of that versus 167, which is actually what I would expect my 7-iron to be. So could be just the that was total distance, I think. All right, let's look at carry real quick of 7-iron. So yeah, carry for 7-iron. So we're just getting more rollout, it looks like, with the UNEEKOR, which was on GS Pro's range instead of E6's range. So that could have had a factor there, but 16 yards off on distance. If we look at carry, 162 to 173 versus 168 to 170. So definitely some differences in there when we start to get to the 7-iron carry numbered, and let's see if that keeps happening as we go to driver. Driver, we've kept kind of this 0.5 to 2 miles per hour difference of swing speed throughout all the clubs, and then ball speed, driver coming in at 2.2 different, a little bit different there. UNEEKOR giving me some more speed, but also pretty consistent, 0.8 to 2 miles per hour off between all 3 clubs, which I think is pretty good. Backspin numbers start to go crazy here with the driver, which is a big complaint about the Garmin. Most likely estimating the spin, even with R10, with the RCT balls, it has a hard time picking the spin up within that 7-8 feet to your screen. And then side spin, super low for the Garmin, gives you a lot of credit with that straight shot into your mat or into your impact screen, and doesn't really think that it's going left or right as much. Again, there's a software out there, Rockstar Golf can fix that for you, and it raises this number up in the GS Pro software. So you can kind of estimate this back to normal. Launch direction, again, we'll get to that in a second. Launch angle, almost identical, launching at between 10 and 11. And then distances, this one, the Garmin giving me more distance than the UNEEKOR. So interesting there as well. Okay, the other thing was the flights. I started keeping track of all the flights. And if we pick a few, like the first gap wedge came out dead straight on the Garmin, and it faded a little bit on the UNEEKOR. Next one drew on the Garmin, and it was dead straight on the UNEEKOR. And so this trend started to appear where I was getting different launch directions, and so I ended up mapping it in a graph. And what I can see is I think they're just aligned differently. Like we have this one thing that came together where I moved the UNEEKOR a little bit, and then they both were 4. But I think this graph clearly shows that they're like equally off as they go through. So one that started just right, it's equally off, it started just left, and we kind of did this the whole time. So I don't think that that is actually that big of a difference. I think it's more of setup and configuration. So for those of you that are wondering if your R10 was worth it, if you're getting bad numbers, I really don't think you are. I think using the UNEEKOR, and like let's just say the UNEEKOR is absolutely 100% correct with everything it does, then the R10 is like 98.5% correct with everything it does, which is crazy. For I think you can find them for $500 now. Some of them people are selling them used for $450. I know the Rapsido has that one, and UNEEKOR has a one, and Skytrack has a $2,000 one. But a $500 radar unit that is this accurate is pretty cool. I'm still a huge fan of the Garmin R10. It will forever be my start into this, and I love it. And I was actually proud of how it performed against the UNEEKOR. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we will see you guys later. Peace out.